Are you meeting your partner's family for the first time? Well, do not ignore these unspoken rules because they won't tell you these things, okay? But that's where I got your back, okay? This is where I'm coming in to help you out. So let's get into it. I have 10 things, and towards the end of this list, I'm gonna tell you it's a doozy, and I'm gonna give you a bonus, okay? Because I don't want you messing this up. Don't mess this up, okay? Because let me tell you, if their family does not like you, it is going to weigh on your relationship. Now, you can't control all things, right? But you can control yourself. So, we're going to focus on the things that you can control. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. I am Dani Wigfall. I am your go to relationship coach. I also happen to be a mental health therapist, creative artist, mom, wife, yada yada, but I'm not getting into that list right now. Here on my channel, I am here to help you design your remarkable life, grow deeper in love with yourself, and possibly someone else. Now, please listen carefully to this entire video because I don't want you to miss a thing. And when I tell you this list, like I put effort into this list, okay? So I want to make sure that I have your back on this. When you go in, you're not going in cold, or you present yourself in a great way, a way that you feel good about. And it's going to help you feel a little bit more relaxed too, which leads into point number 1. Relax. Give yourself some affirmations. Tell yourself you got this. Take some deep breaths because that's going to calm your nervous system down before you go in there, okay? Try your best to relax. No one wants the person that, like, they seem very nervous, da, 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 da. Because if you seem unsure about yourself, they're going to seem unsure about you, okay? So make sure that you try to calm your nerves, try to relax, keep it cool, and that leads into point number 2. Don't be too relaxed, okay? Do not be too relaxed, okay? So please mind your manners. Make sure if you need to excuse yourself to the bathroom, you excuse yourself to the bathroom. Don't be too relaxed. Don't fall asleep. Please don't fall asleep, okay? Let me tell you, unspoken rule, please don't fall asleep. Some people don't know this, but the whole time you need to be up and attentive, because otherwise it can look bad even if you don't mean it. Even if every reason you have is understandable, it can come off and send the wrong message that you're not really trying to send, okay? So be mindful, be relaxed, but not too relaxed, okay? Don't be too relaxed. Okay, so conversation is gonna come up and you might get grilled, okay? You might. Some families pride themselves on, I'm gonna grill this person, yada, 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 right? So in this, be curious about them. Don't just get grilled. Don't make it all about you, but ask them questions about them, you know, want to know, get curious, genuinely curious about them. Like if they're making something, if you're meeting them at their home, like, oh my goodness, where'd you get this recipe from? Or, oh, like ask questions, get very curious on what they're doing, how they live their lives, any family traditions, things that they enjoy, things like that. So don't have it be all about you. Don't talk about yourself the whole time. And that piece is for my extroverts, okay? Don't talk about yourself the whole time. For my introverts, now I want you to voice your curiosity because the curiosity is there. It's just a matter of voicing it and not second guessing it. So being a bit more bold in your statements and your choice of words that you want to say out loud. My extroverts, don't talk too much about yourselves, okay? Don't. Know also how to read the room. Sometimes the room isn't going to give you exactly what they feel. Sometimes the room might be like, and they might be like, absolutely not. I'm not having this person for my daughter or son or whatever, like not happening. Okay. So reading the room can help, but sometimes you might be thrown off. So don't do too much. Like oh, they laughed at that joke. Now I need to tell another joke. I need to tell another joke. I need to tell another joke. And you're not realizing they're laughing to be nice to you, but they don't actually think you're funny. So just be mindful, don't do too much, but make sure that you are present. It could seem like you only care about yourself. You're only here for that person. And that's not a great way to come off. Another thing you can do is offer to help. Offer to help with something that you feel you can help with, even if it's an easy task, running an errand, grabbing something out the fridge, stirring something that's on the stove if it's at home, pulling a chair out or something, whatever that may be, offer to help. Now, they may deny the help the first time. Now, this is the unspoken rule, okay? They may deny the help on the first time. That doesn't mean they don't want your help. This is where you go back. You want to double down on this. Are you sure? It's no problem for me to help you with this. I would love to help you with this. Hit them with that number 2, okay? Try to help again because they may say no to get your reaction, okay? Like, oh, is this person or are they just doing it to be nice? But no, you come forth and really extend that help to them. Now if they turn you down 2 times, then you're good, you're golden. But they may have said no the first time just to see how you're going to respond to things, or they could have genuinely meant no. So just so you know, that's an unspoken rule. Okay, I told you I got your back, and these are things that people don't talk about. We don't talk about, but it's a thing. Also, make sure that you put your phone down, your computers, your tablets, video game, whatever it is, books, whatever. Okay, depending on this setting, make sure that you are present. Be present in that moment. No one wants to talk to someone that's constantly on their phone. Even if they aren't talking directly to you, they're noticing, is this person just on their phone when someone's not talking to them? Is this person off doing something else and not really engaging? So engage is different to be in a room with people, and it's a different thing when you're engaging and truly interested. So make sure that you turn on that engagement. I'm truly interested. And even if it's not natural for you, to practice this would be a great skill to have just in conversations, in rooms, in interviews, all of the things, in period. Okay, this is just a great skill to have, and people have it naturally and some people don't. So if you don't naturally have it and your go-to is let me find my comfort, whatever that may be, step out of that. Okay, it may not look good when you're meeting the family. Okay, so now moving along to my next point number 4. Please prep, okay? Talk to your partner about any traditions, any cultural greetings that they may have. Talk to them about how you should present yourself. Get some leg up. Whoever is going to be there, ask your partner, what do they like? What's their vibe? Understand what they believe, what they don't believe, because that's going to give you some insight on how you should dress. That's going to give you some insight on just how to carry yourself overall, and I'm not telling you not to be you. I'm not saying that. But we all have different versions of ourselves and different energies that we can carry, okay? And so you want to be respectful of their home or of the event or whatever the space is that you're invited to. Know what that space is, and speak to your partner. Also, when you ask for what's some things that they like, hobbies, that's going to give you things that you can talk about. Those are touching points. Like if I know my partner's dad or mom likes movies, like, oh, what's a movie you've seen recently? It gives you conversational points that they can speak to and that you would possibly like to speak to too. Don't talk about things you know nothing about. Let me make that clear. Please do not bring up something and all you have is that one thing. Like if I was to ask about sports, I will not pretend that I am a sports guru in my husband's family. Okay, will not do it. They know that is not a field, but I am here. I am here for it. They are Boston, all teams Boston, and yes, so I will not pretend to know. Like I might chime in with an ad lib here and there because I just heard the announcer say it, or I heard my husband say it before we got there, something like that, to be funny. All things aside, prep. Know what they're into, what they like, if they're conservative, if they're religious. How do you greet someone? So greetings can be a cultural thing too. Know how people should be greeted, what you say, what you don't say. So this is where your partner comes in to help you with this piece. Because if it's a different culture than yours, you may not know these things. And don't assume that you know these things, even if you have the same culture. Okay, so keep that in mind. Get some things from your partner ahead of time. And also, make sure you know people's names, okay? Make sure you know the pronunciation of their names and you get their names right. No one likes being called the wrong name, or it's instant. It's an instant. So you don't want any negative notches, you want the, ooh, okay. I know that I tend to have maybe a more difficult name and this person said my name correctly. I love them already, or at least you get a couple of points. They may not love you already, but at least you get a couple of points. And I'm here to help you get the points. Okay, so get all of the points you can get. But yes, it's so important to do a little prep ahead of time. What you're wearing is going to be important. Present yourself well, but also know what their customs are as well too, and you want to cater somewhat to that. You don't want to come in a certain way and they're like, oh, this is actually offensive to us, so be mindful of their cultures, their beliefs, and things like that. Find out what their interests are, what they really like to do, what they do for fun, hobbies, all of that stuff. any insight you could get, what their vibe is. Do they tend to be quieter? Do they tend to be more reserved? Do they tend to be loud and outgoing? Who tends to be that way? Like getting those insights before the meeting, before the hangout, before the dinner, whatever it may be, is just a beautiful thing. It helps out so much. And remember, having your back pocket, something you can bring up conversation wise, especially if you're not a natural talker. If you're not a natural talker and you always have something to say or you have the gift of gab, like come up with, okay, these are two things I know I can ask anybody about, period. And that will just help you in normal conversation with people in general, and make sure one of those things is not the weather, just not the weather. Ask them what their favorite TV show is, their favorite movie. A lot of people tend to watch TV shows or movies or read certain books. So somewhere along those lines, if you know sports, go down that road. If you don't go down that road. But having those common conversations that anybody can join into is always great. Also, I say it's great to have those because sometimes you need to divert or shift the conversation a little bit, and sometimes you can pull out one of those. Let's say if it's going down a negative path or the conversation is getting really, really heated and tense, like, bringing up something else, whatever that may be. You can bring up how good something tastes if you're eating it, if you truly feel that way. Again, do not lie, okay? But finding something where it's like, I can bring up something different, whether it's sports or movies or, hey, you mentioned this earlier. Can you tell me a little bit about how you did this? Finding some way, because sometimes in family dynamics, you're coming into a dynamic as a new person, but they already have how they feel about things, how they see, how they respond, and all of that. So you're already coming into a dynamic. So some things may not always be, oh, this was the perfect experience and everybody is just perfect in my family, right? So keep that in mind. Like people have their quirks, they have their things, and they have certain things they may just say. So if you don't want to fully go down that road or answer certain questions, or let's say it's going down a negative path or it's getting a little too deep, have a way to pull yourself out of it, and just go for it. Okay. Just go for it. One thing that they're going to ask you is, what do you do? Right? Have something prepared, and have something prepared that represents you well. That sounds great. Let's say if I am a relationship coach, right? I'm not going to say, oh yeah, I talk to people about their relationships and help people, like, I coach, I make some YouTube videos. Like, girl, what do you do? Like, sometimes I do this or sometimes I do that. And like, no, have your spill together. I help people design their remarkable lives so they can fall in love with themselves all over again and also possibly fall in love with other people, and really transform their love life, because relationships are so important. They're so important in our dynamic of who we are and yada, 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 yada. Or I could just say, hey, I'm a relationship coach, but make sure what you're saying and how you're presenting yourself sounds good, especially if you're not used to presenting yourself in that way. They're going to ask you, what do you do? Especially if you live in America. It's one of the first questions that everybody asks. Do I agree with it? No, but people want to know. So another question that people might ask is, what do you do for fun? That's one I love asking people. What do you do for fun? So having those two questions prepared is great. Not that I have a daughter or son-in-law, because I don't, but I just like asking that in normal conversation. What do you do for fun? What do you like to do for fun? And bringing that up. People want to see a little bit of you, who you are, so bring that, bring you, find a way to represent yourself well. Number 5, now when you're bringing up conversations and getting curious about them, asking questions, be sure not to be the person that brings up the don't talk about these topics, like controversial topics. Usually the two things that fall into that is politics and religion. And depending on your culture, it could be money. So don't bring up politics, don't bring up religion. If they mention things, that's great. You don't have to entertain that conversation if you don't want to. If it feels safe to, by all means, go for it. But families have been ripped apart by these things, so you don't want to add any negativity or fuel to the fire. And also, you should know these things ahead of time, okay? Just certain things you do not bring up, especially if viewpoints are very different than your own. Another thing not to bring up that people are not talking about. I don't know why people don't talk about this. We have the don't bring up controversial topics, right? But the other side is don't air your partner's dirty laundry in front of all of the family or in front of whoever. Because as much as you feel like, ooh, I'm still hurt about this, I'm going to say it, or I'm past this, so I'm going to say it. Ha ha ha, we got through this. Family members don't hold that same disdain, because they're going to see it as you're talking about this person that I love in a negative light, whether you're past it or not, whether they agree with you or not. It can come off as a negative point for you. So don't air your dirty laundry. Don't talk about your last arguments and things like that, because it's just going to look bad. It's going to look like sharks in the water. This isn't going to work out. And you don't want any thoughts floating in their head of like, this isn't going to work out. This isn't going to happen, because then they're going to feed that to their partner. And then next thing you know, a few weeks later, you and the partner are broken up and you're like, where did this come from? Lo and behold, his family has been, saying certain things that they just don't agree with, and it could be absolutely nothing. But just keep in mind, family does play a big role in people's decisions. Now, some people, yes, of course, don't listen to everything their family members say, and they will say it does not affect them. And some people, it doesn't affect them as much. Not everybody falls into this camp, but a lot of people, it will affect them. It will affect how their family feels about them, especially if it's someone they hold at high regard or high esteem. If they hold their mom at high esteem and their mom doesn't like you, that's going to be really hard on them. That doesn't necessarily mean they're going to break up with you, but that may mean like this may not work. It's going to cause some type of friction and things of the sort. So some things you can't help. Some things are going to be out of your control. You can only do the things that are within your control. And so those are the things I'm trying to help you out. Okay. I'm trying to help you out with. So do not air the dirty laundry of your relationship or of that person. Even if it's a jokey way, it may not be a jokey joke to them. Okay. This number 6 is a funny point. Let's say you are at dinner, whether it's you guys go out for dinner or you're eating food or you're going over a family member's house. You guys all sit down together and all of the things. Do not stick your fork into your food and just start eating, okay? Do not start eating, okay? You read the room. Are other people starting to eat? Are other people passing things? Are people saying grace? Do people have a tradition before they eat? Is there something that needs to happen? Okay, don't just, okay, I have heard some horrible stories and I can't even mention them. They're that bad, okay? But do not be the first person to dig your fork into your food. Make sure you see some adults doing that in the room. The kids can do whatever they want, okay? But make sure that you are not the first person to do that, okay? Also, going along with that, elders go first for everything, period, point blank. You help them, you grab stuff, whatever it is, elders go first for everything. Now, if you offer and then decline and then you offer again and they decline, by all means, do what you got to do, whatever that may be. But elders go first with everything, okay? Most likely, they might have been the person that cooked the food, and so they're going to go last because they feel more comfortable going last. But you offered, okay? Like, oh, no, this person no, you go first, okay? So I say this, do not eat first, okay? Read the room. I don't care how hungry you are. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Okay, so this next point kind of tied into another point, which is just be mindful of what you're wearing. You don't want to move too much and some things are popping out or fit into a certain way where you feel uncomfortable if like, oh, one little slip up and I'm out of here, so be mindful in what you wear, because you never know what you're going to be doing and how you're going to be interacting. And when you're so focused on engaging with them, you may not be focused on, how's your outfit doing? Or you don't want to be so focused on your outfit if everything is just sitting a perfect way that you can't fully engage and you're not fully present. So also be mindful of any religion or culture, because you don't want to come off as disrespectful. You want to honor their home or the event, whatever it may be. So make sure that you get that prep from your partner on if there's anything specific you need to wear or what they suggest and things like that for this time. Okay, moving along. Now I'm at point number 9. I skipped some point numbers there, but point number 9. If they offer you something, you take it, okay? You take it. Oh, thank you so much. That's so great. I don't care if you want it or you don't want it. You take it, okay? Because in some cultures, it can be very offensive and it can be seen as rude to not accept something. It's almost like a gift of how they're loving on you. So accept their love. Don't look at the item or the food or whatever it is for what it is. Just say, oh, thank you so much, you know. Now, if it's something you don't eat, let's say like it's, if you're a vegetarian and it's meat, you know, like just you can kindly decline it, say, oh, this looks amazing, this looks so great, I am vegetarian, you know, so I cannot eat this, I wish I could, whatever that may be, you know, which you want to try, like whatever they put their love in, you want to try it, you know, but if you can't, then you can't. But if it's something that you could try or something that they do give you, whether you want it or not, you take it. Okay, take it. I don't know why I got so serious with that. That almost seemed like it was like a personal thing. It's not personal, but I just know in certain cultures, if they offer you something and you decline it, it's almost a rejection of their love. And so they're going to feel some type of way. Think about you, like if you give someone a gift and then they're like, nah, I'm good. And you're like, but I put so much into this. This means a lot to me and I wanted you to have it. And now you're rejecting the gift that I'm giving you. It doesn't feel good, you know. It's not technically anything wrong with that. But for that person on the receiving end, they're not going to feel great, you know, and then they're going to be thinking, they're going to be thinking some things, okay? They ain't going to tell you what they're thinking, but they're definitely going to be thinking some things. Number 10, okay, be on time. If not, be early. If you're naturally late, give yourself 15 minutes of a buffer, but be early if not on time, okay? Do not be late. Do not make people wait around for you. It just already, you only get one shot to make that first impression, you know, and you want it to be a good one. So if people are waiting on you for a very, very long time, or even just a little bit of time, but they're very particular about time, then it's just not a good look, you know. So be mindful of people's time and respect for their time. And I say that I've been late to some things before. So I'm giving you the heads up, okay? Be on time and put yourself in those shoes. If you have to wait 30 minutes to an hour for someone to show up to a dinner at, let's say, Cheesecake Factory or something like that, you're going to feel some type of way, especially if you're hungry. And here is the bonus, okay? This is, you're getting 10 points for this off the bat. 10 points. Bring a gift, okay? Ask your partner, if your partner, and hopefully they do, know their family well, you know, bring a gift, okay? Things that can fall into that are a little bit more generic, but also shows you care is some people like flowers, you know, is that something that, you know, the family would like, asking your partner those things. Some people hate flowers, you know, so maybe they might like dried flowers. So flowers, some people like wine, some people don't drink. Some people want like a whiskey or a bourbon or something like that, you know, or it could be something that you don't spend a lot of money on, but asking your partner, what's something I can bring that you think they would like? You know, you can even make something. Hey, I make a card. Hey, I'm excited to meet you guys. It's been great. I've heard so many wonderful things. Thank you for having me over, or thanks for inviting me to this thing. Even something simple as that. Bam. Okay. That was your bonus. I hope you enjoyed all that because y'all are smart. Okay. I'm trying to give y'all the heads up. So make sure you tune in next Tuesday. I am dropping videos every single Tuesday. Okay. If you have something more you would add to this list, I want to hear from you. Like, what would you add to this list? What would you switch up? What would you change? I am constantly learning and I love hearing more. I love hearing your comments. I love engaging with your comments. As you know, I talk back. Okay. So please share with me your thoughts. Anything else you would add to this list at all, or any experience you had that you're open to sharing. So until next time, I will see you next Tuesday. Thanks for watching.